Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1704, written by Perception OK 2758, The Hallway Glitch and a Mystery Switch. I've lived in my home for 10 years and decorate our foyer wall for every season and holiday. So like 40 times at a minimum that I've worked on this wall. It's a prominent but small wall, only 6 feet wide, and faces the front door. I'm a perfectionist and stress over things being centered, straight, balanced, so I go to change out the wall hanging and I'm centering it. But now there's a second light switch on the wall, one on the left and now one on the right, and it's not the same distance from the edges as the ones on the left, so it throws off things looking centered. If I had this problem every season and holiday for 10 years, I'd remember. I have a ton of pics of the wall from all of my decorating, and sure as hell, it's all in the same pics, and now everything looks off-center? Gets even weirder though. The switch turns on the upstairs hall light. Just last week, the upstairs hallway light stopped working, and I haven't gone around to changing the bulb. But it apparently wasn't the bulb, because when I flipped the new switch, the hallway light came on. There's only one light in our house that has 2 switches that control it and have to be on for it to work. Never in 10 years has the upstairs hallway light not worked, and it has not been the bulb. I never had to explain to the kids about 2 switches for the hall light, like the one downstairs. So not only do I have a new light switch, but someone also randomly flipped it for the first time in 10 years, the same week I discovered it. It's just me and my adult son in the house, and I haven't even had company in forever. My son doesn't remember the switch either. It's right in the foyer, right when you walk in. This whole thing gives me this weird feeling. Like maybe I have some faint weird memory of it being there, but it also shocked me that there's a sensation like that switch has come and gone over the last 10 years. But I 100% know I've never used that switch and never had a time that changing the bulb upstairs didn't make it work again. Not once have I ever said, the hallway light isn't working. Must be the downstairs switch. Not once, not ever. How was the first time I noticed it also the same week it's flipped and affects the light upstairs? So freaking weird. Case file 1704. The Hallway Glitch and a Mystery Switch. Quantum immortality will be so disorienting if you're not aware of the phenomena. Truly will make you question your own sanity and mind and all of reality. Though there is a small hiccup. The pictures you have confirm that the light switch was always there. You have picture evidence. So that's hard to disprove, but your son not remembering the switch either. That's a wrinkle. The only thing I can think of is that both you and your son both died in the original universe, and now you're transposed to this new universe together in tandem. Tandem quantum immortality, we'll call it. I think that does happen sometimes. Though it probably isn't a hard requirement. If you die with a friend at the same time, maybe you'll go to the nearest universe, and usually that is the same one. But in some cases, I could foresee that that wouldn't be the case, so you'd go to different ones. But yeah, maybe this is the case where you're both just in a new universe, so both of you don't remember. That explains the incongruity. And you know, there are events that could trigger that. I saw a video of, it was just a typical suburban neighborhood, and one minute everything's okay, the next minute an entire home explodes from a gas leak. I mean, it looked like a freaking bomb, like a gigantic military-grade bomb. No, it was just a gas leak. And you know, the people there wouldn't feel anything. They would just be 1 second there, and then the next they're in a new universe, and they don't really, you wouldn't remember, because sometimes in quantum immortality you remember your death. In this case, you wouldn't remember a giant explosion. Your brain wouldn't even have time to process that stimuli and imprint it on your soul. It's just a flash, you're done. So I think that's probably what happened. Case file number 1705. Written by 1234. Strange Apparition and a Mother's Impossible Vision. This happened a few months ago. In early January, my wife and I were in the kitchen, prepping lunch and chatting. Our 5-year-old daughter was in the living room watching TV. No one else in the house. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and the layout of the house allows us to see a bit of the corridor and the hallway outside of the kitchen door. My wife was cutting up food, and I was sitting behind her. As we talked, she started to turn around to face me, but stopped midway, staring at the kitchen door. She froze up completely, and I remember asking, "What is it?" She let out a loud gasp, and then I instinctively looked towards the door as well. I saw a brief glimpse of what seemed like a person turning the corner towards the living room. It happened very fast, but I was sure I saw someone. I panicked. My immediate thought was, "Holy hell, someone broke in. My daughter's in the living room." The only thing I thought of doing was grabbing a knife and yelled at my wife to call the police. I rushed into the corridor and into the living room. In the living room, there was nothing. My kid was just sitting on the couch watching Bluey. She looked at me and asked, "What's up?" with a confused expression. Mind you, I had a knife in my hand and probably looked crazy. I tried to play it off and asked if she saw anyone come in the room. She hadn't, and was clueless about what I was talking about. I searched the living room and the rest of the house. No sign of a break-in, windows closed, and we live on the 3rd floor. If someone had tried to escape that way, they would have fallen really bad. I checked everywhere, wardrobes, behind curtains, the front door, nothing. No signs of entry, and the front door was totally closed. We didn't hear anyone come in or anything of the sort. This all happened within maybe 10 minutes. I went back to the kitchen, where my wife was crying. She had frozen up and didn't call the cops. I calmed her down. She got scared bad, and she couldn't even speak properly. When she calmed down, she explained to me what she saw. I personally only caught a very quick glimpse of the thing turning around the corner. However, my wife says she got a good look at it. She says she saw what looked like a tall woman, dressed in a floral dress and high heels, walking across the corridor. Neither of us heard any sound though. She said the woman stopped when she understood she was seen, looked at my wife in the eyes, and my wife swears the figure looked like her daughter, but older. This happened in the space of seconds when she first froze up in shock. When my wife gasped, the woman hurried and turned the corner into the living room. I only saw that last part. If I hadn't caught a glimpse of it, I would ask my wife to go into therapy or something. But I know something was there. We never figured out what we saw, but it was definitely the strangest moment of my life. I know it happened. Caissance file 1705, Strange Apparition, and a Mother's Impossible Vision. Okay, so this story started off kind of like a horror story, giving me very horror vibes, but then it twisted at the end towards something much more wholesome. I think it was a sort of time travel event, maybe even brought on by technology, because it seemed like this girl was very aware she wasn't supposed to be seen, yet accidentally she was. And I can buy that. If you're able to travel to the past and you go visit yourself as you were a child, and maybe in her future, both of you are already dead as parents, could be 30 years in the future, for all I know, 40. If you had a chance to see your parents again, if they were dead in your current timeline, you'd probably take it. Interesting. But my gut says it truly was your daughter. Now time for the quote of the day. Patrick Bateman. There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And although I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not here. Describing the existence of a psychopath. Someone who is there. Really, I would qualify it as an NPC. A non-playable character. An automaton. Someone who doesn't really have free will, in this case. The soul is either not there or improperly connected. Maybe the latter. Makes sense. The compatibility from a soul to a body might not be as simple as we think it is. It's not like, just some energy wisps into you and then automatically everything is hunky-dory. There might be problems sometimes with that process. And maybe they can't be corrected. So then you have these people that are psychopaths. They're sentient, but there's nothing there. And that's kind of terrifying. To me anyways. Alright, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. And don't go Patrick Bateman on anyone. Thank you. Kinetic Symphony signing off.